One. Hey everybody, I am streaming, I guess, and I don't know what's going on here. We had a problem with the software that connects me, but I will continue without it. Here, let me switch to the Paint camera because that's what I gotta do till I reconnect, but I will get connected in a bit. Hopefully it'll work. We use this software that is basically remote desktop, and it's only okay. And right now it logged me out and then says, we don't pay for mine because I'm only just doing these fun streams here for me painting. Otherwise we have a covered, I don't know if I'm in focus. I don't think I am. There we go. I won't be able to do any cutting and I will not be able to monitor. I mean, I can sort of monitor the feed and listen to it and hear myself talk, which will be challenging, but I only have to do it for like 20 minutes, so we'll see. It's very weird. I do not wish, I wish we had a better way to do this stuff. Anyway, let me know, let me know if you see any problems in the chat. I will be getting on the chat in a second. It's really strange. We've had so many troubles. It shows me not, I am in the shot, okay, good. Hey, I'm running at double speed. That can't be possible. Okay, well there we go. There's this one. Yeah, it does say games. There's been nothing but troubles today. On YouTube, it would not let me edit it. Yeah, it was a real bummer because I don't want to confuse people, but I am going to be painting. Hey, it does show me as on camera. Did that not switch? Boy, this is going to be fun today. I'll give it a little bit of time and hopefully I can get signed back in. I do need to have the chats going. Oh wait, I was on the stream. Interesting. Interesting. What a crazy mess. I don't know how I'm on a Mac. It's not that hard. Anyway, sorry about the confusion, but I have to end up doing it from a distance since I don't have access to that. But hello, Dim. Hey, Michael. I'm doing well. Hey, Circe. Oh, Mr. Karloff, I do have a great the Frankenstein shirt. This was from T-Villain. I bought it. I buy a lot of shirts from them. Let me see if I can cut to the down. I have to move away from the desk. I'm sorry. But yeah, I wish we paid for the. I mean, it's quite expensive to pay for this, and I'm only doing this. It's really kind of for me. But I mean, you know, if I can teach others to paint, it'd be great. But I have such issues with the with this software. It's not great. And the funny thing is I mean, if I was using a Windows machine, I could just remote desktop in. But I see I didn't actually cut to it. There we go. I put it in the preview but didn't cut, and it might be too zoomed in. We'll see here. I painted a bunch this weekend, so we see my mom every weekend, and she comes over and we hang out and maybe watch something or talk. So this weekend I actually got my painting stuff together. I don't have everything back in here, but I got my painting stuff together and I painted in the house. So these are ones I worked on this one. This is the third Iron Man I've done. This one's a little different. This looks similar to the one I did originally. Is that here? So this is the very first one I did. I like them both. I tried to do a blending, a zenithal highlight with the metallics, and it didn't quite work out. I don't think I have a dark enough metallic, although I do have a bunch. But they're both pretty cool, but I'm very happy with the gold and the red metallic. It looks good. I just wish there was a little bit more shading to it, but they're cool. I know, Jigsaw, that was yesterday, or was it Tuesday? I cannot get YouTube to change. It's been nothing but fun here. I don't understand what's going on. Like, I could not log in at all to, I kept hitting edit and it wouldn't go to it, so I just ended up having to go with it. So sorry about the brain damage. I will change it on, I'll change it on the VOD after the fact. The Twitch is correct. I don't get it, but let's see here. I'm on the chat. Pop it. Nope, not pause the chat. Cancel. And switch to non-mod settings. It's so great today. I mean, that isn't it. It's weird. There we go, pop out chat. Anyway, I'm not there to see any. Hey, there's Forever and Ever. Thank you so much, Forever and Ever Dragon 7. Thanks so much for the bits. I saw that pop up as I was trying to get my act together a few minutes ago. Really appreciate it. I wish I was playing a game. We've actually just finished. That's another reason why I'm a little bit lagging today. We just finished filming with Mike and Nick. So the first time we've actually had 4 in the studio for probably since December. Has been a challenge. Deborah's supposedly coming back home soon, but Dave is up north, and we might be able to get Aaron soon. You know, it is election time, and so he is very busy dealing with that. Let us see. So we got that. I got more chat going on in YouTube, which is cool. Of course, everybody thinks I'm playing games, so that doesn't help. Sorry about that. I miss Dave too. He is. We've had him. We just put up. We put up the Art Society, which we filmed with him. And it was great, and we actually streamed before we went to Dallas. I'll show you those in a second. Before we went to Dallas, we streamed Ascending Empires, which was great. A little 4X game that is very quick and has dexterity, which is awesome. I had a really great time with that. So much so that I bought the game. So I went a little crazy and spent $110 on it at least, and I might be buying one for a friend who didn't know about it, who's into 4X games, and he seemed to be interested in that one. But yeah, I think we have something else with Dave. I know we have some other things with Dave. There's a big one we've got coming up. So we missed the one episode. I don't know if have I streamed painting since we got back? I don't think so, because I actually did a lot of work on this desktop, and it's a disaster right now. It's okay, but I did a lot of work on it and put up more space for some of the paint so that they're spread out more. I ended up I think I talked about it. I think I streamed about it, but maybe I don't know. That's some weird, because maybe I did some more work after the fact, because this camera that's on me was disconnected. This one was disconnected up above, which I still don't quite understand. I must have streamed before I left. That was the last time. So I probably showed the paint racks, which are great. I've showed them many times. They're the Mischief Maker on YouTube. I love them. I do wish that he made them with Baltic birch plywood, but I'm sure they'd be much, much more expensive. My issue is I've broken some as putting them together. This one here, I don't think it's you can see it kind of right here. I broke that pressing it, trying not to press it, to be honest with you. You really have to, you can see here, it's kind of like a bridge of stuff. You have to push the stuff together here, and oh, this broke down here too. It was really great. And I thought I glued that, but I have to fix it, and I'll clamp it, and it'll be fine. But Baltic birch plywood would be amazing, but they just don't. It's just too expensive. And I'm not even sure you can get any more Baltic birch. Sounds like it might be from Russia or the Ukraine. So there might be something else that you can get. What else we got going on? But yeah, we filmed with Nick and Mike a couple of great games. One that actually both games we've been dying to do for a long time. One game we played, we had hoped to get it from the publisher, and they just, they're busy and trying to do so much stuff, and it's a small, they're not terribly small, but they're small publisher that was, getting ready for another Kickstarter, and that might have been really why. That could give you a hint, but we ended up buying the game. One of the local, so there's a gaming event in Southern California called SoCal Games Day that Dave has been running for forever. He was not going to run it. I thought that was the plan, because it's a lot of work, and it's him and our friend Steph and some others that kind of run it. Chris Johnson, and we don't get to go that often. It's one day every couple of months, and I was out of town actually when the last one happened, and I don't think it was for that one, but it might have been. I think it was for the previous one. Although that could, I see the lists for what people are trading and selling, and I might have misunderstood which one was for what. But I bought this one from Rich Summer, and I was very happy to get it, just so we could play it, because we've been excited. I actually wanted it to be in November to be our episode 500, but it was a problem because it only takes 5 players, and we had 6. I was trying to get even more people. Baltic birch, yeah, a bit tough to get. That's what I figured. And I love Baltic birch stuff. The wood is fantastic. I do have some. I have a laser cutter, so I might actually even repair that messed up one I have there with. I do have some MDF as well, so I've actually made my own paint racks that were pretty good, but not as good as these. So I paid this guy instead of trying to reverse engineer them, which it's not that terribly hard to do, but I want to reward the guy for the great design. So the other two, so I worked on Iron Man, which he turned out cool. I really like the. Move it a little closer. I really like the metallic. I think it looks great. I also painted a new Ant-Man, and I'm really happy with this one. It's very close to the other one. I don't think I might have put a metallic wash on it. I did not do it this time. And then I kind of feel the metallics. I just wanted to try something different. And then I also painted. Hey, Time Roller, thanks for the raid. Hello, everybody. If you see it, I don't see the notification. I'm not plugged in. That would be the reason why. Hopefully, I can sign in so I can see more of this stuff. Time Roller, they stream a lot, which is great. Or actually, they probably stream a lot when we stream. And we usually will raid them if they're going, hey, Time Roller there with the... Anyway, so I painted Wasp, and I did it more like the... Now, again, it's ultimately, I thought I chose a darker green, because when I looked at it on the representative image that Big Child Creatives, they didn't... it looked green. Then I looked at it when I was in here, or no, in the house, on my phone, not on my laptop, and it looked more black with blue or greenish. But so I may go back and do some more on top of this. Hey. Thanks so much, Forever Dragon. There we go, Forever Dragon 7. Thanks again for the bits. So yeah, I was working on. I have it. It's packed away. I need to get it out. I have too many minis sitting out, but this. I worked on this one to match more the actual image. I'll show you real quick if I can pull it up. But they look this. It's the same green. It's a disappointment in that regard, but. Let's see, drive here. But I really like this one. I actually had a good time. Go home, Nightbot, you're drunk. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should change that. That's my problem. I had so many troubles like logging into everything today. Let me do it here. Edit com. I still can't figure out the YouTube thing. I wonder if I could do it from another computer. Oops. I'm not really good at all of this stuff. I don't remember it and I don't do it often. And then let me go ahead and get it from BGG. Might as well. I think it's still there. It sure is. It's Marvel United. The wrong link. So yeah, we can actually paste in the BGG link to the game too, which is nice. Command C, since I'm using, let's go for that. I'm excited to be, I'm going to try to paint Moon Knight today, and I can never remember his name. I don't think I knew Moon Knight prior to, gosh, where is the photos? Yeah, the TV show. So I was very excited to actually get it, but let me see if I can find Wasp. I think she's at the bottom of it. It's such a, the weird thing is not alphabetized. It is alphabetized, but there's like a break, so I'm not sure what's going on with it. So if you see, it looks kind of green. Well, it looks like black again if you look at it there, but on my end, it's very green. And I went with the green. It sort of is that. And so I actually think I was on this phone looking at it as a reference, and it would look black. So I don't really know. It may be because of the optic source lighting, but yeah, it didn't do it right. But I'm very happy with how this turned out. I did the wings with the little, you know, like I wish I had some turbo dork where I could do like an iridescent kind of thing, but it doesn't necessarily need to look like insect wings. And the die turned out great. I've almost bought turbo dark several times. I'm just not really that into it. Did it actually? Oh, it did update successfully. Cool. Okay, well, so turbo dork is a line. They actually have, I think I backed the Kickstarter for, so I have some stuff from Game Envy, and they have a new wet palette. I don't need another wet palette, but I backed it. I might have backed the Turbo Dork one so that I could get, which is pink, so I could get their tray as well. But it's a redo of the wet palette with some other larger versions as well. But yeah, it's actually pretty exciting. Let me see if I can get Moon Knight. He's also from the first go. I've only ever done the first 10 minis, I think, out of the main box for X-Men, and I need to get on them. I have so much stuff. I cannot find it. It's weird how these aren't alphabetical. I thought it was sorted by alphabetical. It has to be. Anyway, let's see if I can find Moon Knight. Yeah, they're like in backwards alphabetical, but they're not. Wow, so there's one photo for Moon Knight, and he's blue. He's at night. Huh. Maybe I'll go with that. Wow. I think of him, you know, obviously in the TV show, he was like a natural color, like cotton color, unbleached cotton color, which I really liked. Wow, and he's got a black face and a black undercape. Making me think here. Wow, I don't know. What's going on with that? So, I mean, if I did it with a pale, I mean, once again, it's kind of my color, and I don't want to use it. I kept getting more paint too when I was going into the painting in the house. Yeah, I like that aethermatic blue that is sort of that color. I have so much paint out here. So that's this color here, aethermatic. And it's a good one, but I use it a lot. I've been trying to actually change up the blues and the reds. I wish I had the Marvel United out here that I painted already. Wow. But yeah, I need to also figure out a way to, I think I just got to put them back in the box and deal with it, but I sure would be upset if the paint stuck to the lid. You know, it's got that clear plastic lid. I don't know if I said the t-shirt was T-Villain. I like their stuff. They had one the other day that was it wasn't Pick of Destiny, it was Tenacious D, but can't remember what they called it, but it was great. I just didn't, you should see, I sent a picture of in my room once to somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, you have too many t-shirts. I'm like, yes, I do. Well, I guess I'll go for it like this. I mean, it's a dark stone that it's on. I also like this. It has like some color going on here, like it's dripping, which I'm confused. The weird thing is I thought this, I've mentioned this before, I thought this was a mistake, and maybe it is. Maybe it's an injection point that just doesn't really work well, but on both of the miniatures, it's damaged. Let me see if I can log into the chatting is driving me insane, but can't be helped. It's when I have to listen to it, I have to listen to everything so I can hear the... So yeah, I hear myself in the thing and it's crazy. Hey! The notifications, yeah. I don't understand it. It said I was inactive. I'm like, what? We should just figure out about paying for this. I don't know. It's not, obviously we don't have a ton of people watching. Hey, there I am. Let me, we have a good amount of folks watching for game night, but hey Lincoln, did you see saw you at the Pinball Expo? I loved it. Were you the one that came up and talked to us while we were? I didn't get your name, and I feel terrible. When you were with your wife. Let's see. You're having as good as day. I'm actually having a good day. We had a lot of fun, but boy, oh boy, there's just nothing but troubles. But this is working right now, although I don't see the call. Oh, you can always stop us. We were actually surprised how many board gamers are there. We actually hung out with a friend so I was streaming last year as we were getting close to going to the event. Let me mute what I'm hearing here. Man, I do not understand. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. I think we got it. Okay, so yeah, Preston, who was in the tournaments, last year I was streaming, and I mentioned that I got in the queue to buy a copy of and it's expensive, by the way, too expensive, of the Foo Fighters pinball machine that came out last year. Stern will sell several, I don't know how many, but not a lot, but some like the first day that they're available, of their limited edition machines, which I've never purchased one. When I bought we own Munsters. When I bought it, it was already too late to get the limited edition, but the guy that was delivering the machine was like, well, do you want to buy the limited edition? I'm like, no, we want the black and white one. That was the issue with the Munsters, is the premium edition at the time we bought it was in grayscale, which we wanted because the Munsters is grayscale. And then he was trying to sell, and believe me, the limited edition one's beautiful, but it's color. And so we're like, yeah, we don't want it. And then they ended up doing the premium in color, which looks good too. They're gorgeous. For that machine, you have Grandpa's Laboratories, a little playfield underneath, and you want that to, you only get that with the premium and the limited edition. So it's crazy. So anyway, I almost bought the limited edition. Then I realized I don't even have a credit card that can make that purchase. Nikki does, and she's like, you should have got me up. I'm like, we don't need it. But Preston watched me streaming about it, and he's like, oh, I didn't know you were into pinball. So he was going to be there, and we met up with him. And then he came to BGG Spring in May after that, and we hung out with him for a few hours on Friday, I believe. But he played all day on Saturday. Like, he was in the tournaments a lot. And that's one reason why I'm not really a tournament guy. Because, well, first of all, I'm not that great of a player. But secondly, I just don't want to spend that amount of time. We want to play the new machines, and we did pretty darn good. Nikki didn't. So they have a thing where they close the hall, and only the people that work the event can hang out. Well, once again, we knew some people and we were allowed to be in there. And last year they just were looking for wristbands to see if you could do it, and the hall was way too crowded, and we like stood because they announced Pulp Fiction that year, and they had it like 6 machines to play, and the lines were crazy. So we got to play it once. This time they cleared the hall, so it was completely empty, and we were very thankful. The reason why we were allowed to get it, I mean, we know people from the manufacturers, but we don't want to bug them. But we know one of the people that helps run it now, and he is a BGG person as well. He's on BGG, and he was excited to see us. And so he got us in last year, and he got us in again this year, and we really appreciate it because Nikki was too tired. She didn't get to go back, but we played. Oh my gosh, I got dumped again. Oh well, I'm not going to see. I guess I'm on the call still. I don't know how I hear this. Oh, I'm on the call. I see the call. So I'm not going to see the. This is terrible. I'm not happy about this software. Maybe it needs to be updated. So I won't be able to switch easily. I'll have to go to the other room. So we'll stick with this until the end, maybe. Anyway, let's get to maybe painting. But yeah, we had a good time. I really enjoy the event. But you should absolutely stop us next year. And if you're there, and come and say hello, and maybe we'll play some games. And if you go to BGG Con, if I don't know if you live in Dallas, if you were at the con, but we have BGG Spring. I believe there's some still tickets maybe available for that. But definitely the tickets went on sale for BGG Fall, and it was fantastic. It was your first year? Yeah, this is our second year. Awesome. You should say hello at Spring. We'll be around. Usually I'm there as much as I can be on the day everybody gets let in. It's fun to say hi to everybody. So I do get a little hoarse after talking to everybody, but it's really great. So we definitely should stop by. It's awesome. BGG Spring's a good con. It's small, a little smaller. It's a big con still, but it's a little bit less crazy, which is great. Oh, I meant to give Nick something. Darn it. Darn. And who knows? Nick and Mike are moving, so I'm kind of bummed. I mean, we'll still get to hang out with them occasionally, and I'll see them before they go. But I have another one of these, a spare one. I wanted to give it to him. He was telling me, he goes, I have one of those paint trays. I'm like, yeah, I gave that to you. Because he was saying he was having a hard time painting, and I just go, well, have this little, because I have this little tray from, I don't remember what they're called. They're Polish, Hobby Zone maybe? And they make these other great trays. This is the paint tray. I use mine. I know you might not believe it. There's a little bit of paint on here. But a friend of mine has one very similar, if not the same. But yeah, this one's designed for Games Workshop Citadel paints. But when he came to visit, I think during the pandemic or around there, I gave him Nikki's because Nikki was not using it, which is fine. Oh man, I'm gonna knock stuff down. But yeah, I pulled so many paints. That's one reason why I don't like painting away from the desk, but I wanted to hang out with my mom, And I mean, we see her a lot, but she's just, by herself. My dad passed away 23 years ago. So she's been by herself for a long time. And, thankfully we all live in the same area. Nikki's parents live kind of close to us as well. So we're going to see them, but I just, I just want to see my mom, and it's not a big deal. I just want her to feel a little bit better. She's not doing too great lately. She was kind of like, as we were kids, Dad was obviously the dominant personality. And so my mom's friends were my dad's friends. And so I don't really exactly remember how everything, because most of the folks still talk to her occasionally, but they don't live here anymore. That's the other issue, is we all are so split apart. So she could potentially see some of those folks occasionally, but none of them live here anymore. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I felt the expo was great. I think they did it. So yes, last year's was cool too, but this year was very smooth for a completely different setup. They had the merch booth outside in the halls outside of the main ballroom. And we went and bought a t-shirt the first day. We did not join in on the, hey, wow, I think I need to clean this. Wow, okay. Well, thanks for that follow. I don't know why I'm not seeing it, but, oh, you know why I don't see it? Because I'm not on I can't see that stuff. I could see it on the call, but, so the call's weird. I don't have, oh, I see here, but I have, like, nothing's working. It's so bizarre. So we have oh, there's the call. So I can actually see that stuff now. I missed that, I'm sorry. I could probably see it in the messages here. It would not be under, boy, nothing seems to be going. Anyway, thank you so much for that follow. But yeah, it was a good con. Definitely was worth the time and the effort. And we really, I mean, you know, I'm not a major pinball consumer, meaning that I don't buy a lot of machines. I would love to have more. We just don't have the space, to be completely honest with you. There's a few I'd like to get. I mean, I would really love to get the Star Wars machine. That one's hard. Godzilla's really the best machine out there for us. But both Nikki and I love that one. I'd love to own that one. Maybe. Again, it's nearly $10,000 just for the... And that one's a popular machine, so they'll probably do a few more runs and then maybe that'll be it. Because, you know, they'll keep making them if people will buy them. So let's see here. I guess I'll try to do the blue. I should look at the picture on my phone, make sure I have it. David wrote me. I think I had two people write me almost at the exact same time. Anyway, we definitely had a good time. We're going back to Dallas next week because we are going to go there for the eclipse, which just was like a little byproduct to benefit. And then we go to the gathering on wow, I got two of the same window open. What a crazy person. We go to the gathering. I'm not going to verify it's me. I'll use my phone for the pictures. That's one thing I don't hate Macintosh computers. Macs, sorry, they're no longer Macintosh. I'm frustrated with them. They're not my favorite. But yeah, I would love to have more pinball machines. Scott has a few, and it's fun to go play with it on his. He's got a great space for it. I really think I need to use this color. How terrible. It's so close. Oops, I closed it. Not Warlock. Ooh, that one's a neat one. I need to do that. What is this one again? It is Moon Knight. I have one picture of Moon Knight. Yeah, the first run, they only did front pictures and maybe like a couple of different angles. And they only did one for this one that I know of. I'm kind of, as I go, I get a little bit more carefree with the use of other paints. Because I was trying to do everything with contrast paints. Not that contrast paints are the easiest route, but I think it's a pretty good route for beginners. You don't have to paint these, airbrush them like I do. I airbrush these to do the zenithal highlight, so I paint it entirely black as best I can. And then I do gray at a 45-degree angle with an airbrush, so I'm spraying it like this. You know, at this angle, all the way around. Then I just do the white directly from above. Now, I cheat that a little bit where I'll work on the face and try to bring it up bright. But you can just dry brush it. This one here, her face is still very pale. I've turned her into a ghost. But initially, I just dry brushed it. I felt her face was too dark, so I decided to change it. But I think the dry brush version is great too. I wish I had the Iron Man. Now the Iron Man I did a little bit something different. I actually used, what did I say? A few of what? Barry? So, oh yeah, I'm not, Barry, I'm not being completely frank on that. The problem is don't paint white. Like, white is tough. I actually watched a video of Vincent Venturella, which I don't know why I didn't think of this a long time ago. He's like, don't use straight white. Because lots of colors read as white on miniatures, especially if you're going to use this color contrast paints. So the next time I do the face, if I paint it, because it's chalky, I will use a different color white, maybe a good flesh tone, you know, that's not, I have light flesh, which is an old bottle, and I don't like it. As you can see, I've relabeled it because it couldn't even fit in the rack. And it's kind of this color. Maybe I used it, I don't know, but I might have used it actually on this one, hoping that that would work. Actually, I think what I did is I used a blend of gloss, varnish, and white, which is what he recommends if you want to do that. But Vince is really great. He does really good coverage of how to, how do varnishes work and just how to paint certain things and all kinds. It's hobby cheating videos. They're great. He's up to like episode 450 something. And it's great. I met him last year at Gen Con, and he is really good. Really, really insightful. Also, I was watching Ninjon, who sometimes bums me out. I like him, though. I've not met him. And he was showing his miniatures that he felt kind of broken, but he actually won third place, a bronze, which is, yeah, I know, Scott's Machines. He won a bronze trophy, Golden Demon. At first I was like, I thought I didn't see that he won. And then I was showing Nikki the pictures of the winners, which the one that was the Demon Slayer sword or whatever it is was a phenomenal miniature. It's a diorama essentially, but really, really great. But then I saw that his name's John Ninas. He won. I was like, oh, good. And I don't know how I didn't recognize it. I was specifically looking for his miniatures, but I didn't see it. And it was great. Really, really nice job. So I'm happy for him that he won. Because last year Vince said he was done with the Games Workshop's Golden Demon Awards, because he's not bitter, but it's like a lot of effort and it's not really what he wants to do. And I do not blame him. I'm not that kind of I'm not that sort of painter. I wouldn't, oh gosh, where's that handle at? I don't think I'd have that kind of patience to do that kind of mini painting. I'm okay. And if I really worked hard, I could probably do okay, but I don't think I could win. You got to be really good. Wow, I think that is still, there's a few things still sitting in the living room. I have them on the coffee table painting. Not the best place to paint. Let's see here. Well, I'm getting hoarse. Too much talking today. We had a really good time with Mike and Nick. We also had a BGG meeting this morning. A lot of stuff. I knew I was going to have a busy day today. I've been trying to... so Stern has... I mentioned it on the BGG show this week. Stern has a app and a whole system designed in their newer, like the last 23 pinball machines or something like that, where they have a thing called Insider Connected. You use the app, you log into a machine, and you could get, it tracks things like achievements, which are totally like video games, and other stuff. It's really great, and it's actually gotten me more involved, where I was trying to play every day and get what they call a badge for however many days straight that you played. And I was, the reason why I was doing it is you can't see what other people have done on it until you've achieved that. And so when I first reached 90 plays, I was like number 324. So, not that many had done it. I'm pretty sure it's near 400 or over 400 now. So I am, but the point of the story is we had a very busy day last month, and I was with Dave, and we filmed with Dave, and then Nick came over for some stuff for the how to play videos and stuff that we do. And I didn't play. And I woke up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock and I was like, did I play? And then I looked at the app and it said I was current streak 106 and I was at 106. So I was like, oh, cool. Well, I played the next morning and I was on day 1 of a new streak and I was crushed. That was 106 days. It's not, I mean, it's a crazy one, right? That's a very difficult one to do, especially if you're going to travel. Like, good luck finding a pinball machine to play. So I don't know. It's what it is, and I'm once again playing. I think I'm on day 15 or something like that, or maybe a little further than that. And it's definitely disheartening, but I love it. I think it's a really good idea. It also gets you out. So if you want to, there's certain times, like in January, there was Elvira achievements, and you had to play on an Elvira machine, and so they were a challenge. And then there was some Godzilla ones in December, I think, which we didn't get. That's the one thing they don't have right, is they're not really good about communicating it. It's sort of in the app now, but at the beginning of the month, I looked for a while to figure out where it was at, and I sort of know where it's at now, so maybe I will be able to track it. That is not going to be pale enough. What do you want to bet? I don't really know if I need I need to have the cheaters. I have no cheaters out here. It's all in. Oh no, there's a pair. These are a little heavy, but I'll use these. I'm only just getting started, and it's now 6:15. And I'm very disappointed with this software. Like, why wouldn't it work? I don't really need blue, but let me just paint it to see what it looks like. I mean, I do need the blue, but that's pale. So I'm going to try to do it like theirs is painted. This is not fully smoothed out. And you can see it right there, the seam. I tried really hard to get them smooth, but it is a challenge. And I'm not doing it like I do on GW miniatures, where I'm assembling it. When I assemble it, I am very good about, well, pretty darn good about smoothing out the mold lines and stuff like that. I watched a video recently where they were saying that they seem to be getting worse again for the flash, and which is a downer. I really do like the Games Workshop minis a lot. And these are just, these are pre-made. They're cast in multiple pieces, but they assemble them completely. And I've had pieces fall apart of these, some minis, and I've had one break. The Iron Man, actually. Let's look at that now. That looks pretty good. I actually had to pin it. You can see through here I put a piece of paper clip into the post, and then the other part could glue. And it's pretty solid. It's way more solid than it used to be. But it's kind of a little sloppy down there because I was using super glue, and it was, I don't know, I think I only have a gel. Yeah, is it a gel? Yeah, no run gel. I don't like gel super glues. I did not notice that, or I wouldn't have bought it. I don't need gel. So anyway, I need to get super glue too. So yeah, I'm going to basically just do a good cover on this and then build it up from there. I suppose I probably could. Actually, I'll wait one time before putting it on the other half of the hood or the cowl or whatever. Oof, my head's getting in the way. It's just been crazy. We actually have another friend moving back to where he grew up, and it's unfortunate. We really like him. But it is very expensive to live in Southern California. Like, to buy a home, which, you know, a lot of people don't think it's worth it, but like if you have a family, it probably is worth it. And so they can't afford to do it. It's just terribly expensive. But now I'm trying to decide whether I should do a black underneath here, or if I under the cape, or if I should do some sort of deep blue. The problem is you know, there's a ton. Hey, let's see if I can see this. Hey, for Glitch, thanks for the follow. Painting some Marvel United minis today. There's so many blues and greens in the paint line. I don't know how many there are. It's not over. There's a lot of blue and a good amount of green. I don't know. In the speed paint line, I do have them all now. I went and spent some gift certificates and just got them so I could have them. I love them. I think they're good too. I think they're both great. GW was nice enough to send me the the new set that they did. Goodness gracious, probably over a year and a half, almost a year and a half ago. And I really love, I think they're great. I think these speed paints and contrast paints are really good. I was talking to Nick Murphy. He says he's not using them so much. He's too crazy. I mean, he showed me his Red Skull, and it was great. So I would love to see more of his stuff. He was doing some really great stuff in GW with his Tyranids, and I'm dying to see those as well. I really should just go out there. I mean, we were supposed to, he's been living in that house for a while now. We were going to go out for a housewarming, but now they're moving, so I don't really need to go out there. It's a bummer. I would like to see what he does on his stuff. He hasn't painted as much as he would like to either. Everybody's just been busy. So that's one reason why I feel it's a good idea to just have a small setup so that you can, even though it's really wonderful to have this here, I also want to hang out with Nikki, right? And so we watch a show or something, and I'll just have the little set. I mean, I used to have it on the table in the living room all the time. That was where I painted. But now I don't do that, although it has been out there for a few days. Has he got like a PlayStation controller? Is that what that one was? I think it's his little crest from his chest or something. I think that's what it was in the show. Okay, let me just do another coat, and then I will try to do... It's not dry though. You should not paint this stuff until it is dry. Let's do the other one. Hopefully this guy will be dry when I'm finished with that one. This is kind of exciting. This seems like it's a simple paint job because it's mostly, you know, I just painted his face blue and it is black. I will just put a probably basilicanum gray over it, which is like my favorite. But yeah, it's kind of an exciting miniature to potentially do quickly. I do need to try to get, I know I'm not going to make it, but I really would like to be done with these by June when they start shipping the third wave of stuff, which I backed all of it. I'm crazy. Hey, for Glitch, thanks for that follow. I love, this game is silly, right? It's a good game, but it does not need all of this. These movers are, but I mean, this is what makes the game great, in my opinion. It's really fun. I really love the game as well. But I really should, we've been talking about doing it on the show again. the Spider-Man one. I have them all painted. They look pretty. I think I did them all. I did. So I'm 10. I think there's 10 in that one. I can't really count them all. I need to move that. What happened here? Did I just paint something on that? Ugh. No, it's just drying splotchy. Ugh. Maybe do one more coat before it. So when you do the zenithal highlight, you don't have to actually worry too much about the contrast and speed paints, the way they go on, as long as they're even, because you've got a lot of the shading that speed painting is supposed to be doing for you. So I'll do a light coat here. Yeah, it looks the same. But it's been a weird technological, I mean, otherwise it was pretty good earlier today. And we got going pretty quickly. We had a lot of figuring out to do for one of the games we played. And I got all carried away and didn't get back to this. I'm not really great. I've not done, I mean, I've painted several armies back in the day, you know, of Games Workshop ones, and those are a lot of miniatures, right? You're painting similar stuff, and I'm pretty good at that, but I'm not great at it, because I painted the Adam Warlock recently, and I have 2 of those, and one for my friend, and not great. You know, it's not the same, and I was having troubles. Now, the undercoat wasn't the same, so I started off on the wrong foot, but I would like to get better at doing, you know, bulk painting similar units. I think I talked about on the stream before where I had I had paint when I was in college. I was doing a project where I wanted 2 identical paintings, and boy oh boy, I never was able to do it. They were close. They're around here somewhere. They were close, but I ended up stopping before I even got it done, which is a bummer because, wow, what's going on here? Oh, there's something, like a piece of something. And I just couldn't do it. It's much harder than you think to like do things exactly the same. And that was an airbrush painting, so it should have been pretty good, but it was not. I mean, no, I was also much younger painting those, so I didn't have the level of skill that many airbrush artists do. And I wasn't doing it that style, you know, where you're actually rendering a painting with an airbrush. I mean, wow, there's the Art Workshop, I think is the name of the channel, and he does a lot of reviews of airbrushes, which is great. That's how I found him. But his skills at painting, doing portraits and stuff with an airbrush is just phenomenal. So I got a little bit of, it dried up and it was pooling. You kind of need to work on this with a wet brush that is clean. It'll be fine. It's funny, I was essentially going to do this with a brown, so. It's still not great here. I need more paint. Yeah, you really can't, it's a struggle. So this is the first one, I think, and this is the second one. It is. It's weird how I've got a nice big coffee stain there. Now you can fix that by applying more paint. And you know, I actually, oh gosh, dang, there's a whole streak here that is not correct. These will not be identical. Again, the undercoat's not the same, so. We are getting ready though. We had a meeting today about Gen Con, so we will be there. And BGG, I don't think we're gonna have a booth, but we will have the Hot Games Room again. So if you're going to Gen Con, the Hot Games Room is great because we get a lot, if not all of the major new games, and they're there for people to play. And it is awesome. We've played a bunch. Actually, we only played once with Deborah this last year. She got sick. Thankfully, it wasn't COVID. But you know, she's got a young son, so they were worried about him. And so that was going to be the big day to hang out, was on Sunday, but it didn't happen. She actually was working, doing a lot of RPG stuff for an RPG event, which was pretty awesome. I know I've put this color on straight, but I don't feel it looks. Yeah, that seam, I did a terrible job, and it's hard to see it, so you really should spend time doing your best to clean up mold lines. It is definitely better. Yeah, the minis are different too. When you look at these, they're actually not the same. They're close. This one's closer than others, but the you know, they're going from 3D prints when they paint these. And I'm pretty certain that Big Child is the sculptors too, and they're great. I think I'm gonna put some blue. I don't really know. What was the one blue that I was just talking about? Oh, it was on Wasp. Not the same color. Green. Yeah, Nick he's quite a good miniature painter too. He's an artist. I wish Nick could do more stuff. Like, he was doing something for their Kickstarter. They had a Kickstarter a few years back, and he did the paintings, like the illustrations for the cards that they had gotten permission to do their own. I think they were mini and somebody did a mini for them too, minis for them, of each of them for, gosh darn it, what was that game? I have some of it. Oh, darn it. It's the basically the redo of Epic Duels, Star Wars Epic Duels from, wow, they really paint that all black. I don't know. Gosh, what is that called? Hey, there's Nick or Mike. It was good to have you guys over today. I'm just talking about you. And I forgot to give Nick the one of these. I'm bummed. Unmatched, there you go. Nick did the sculpting and not sculpting, the painting. Nick, I want to give you this next time I see you. Don't let me forget. We were in such a rush because I knew you had to get going, and I had to get going. But yeah, it was awesome. I was just praising your mini painting skills too. I would love to see more of. You need to take pictures for me and just send them to me. That way I can see some of it. So this is the big child version of it that I'm trying to sort of replicate. I'll get there. But painting 2 is hard. Much, much more challenging than you think. I mean, because it's the same character, right? You want it to be similar. And I cannot do it. Not yet, anyway. But I love it. It's a challenge. It's something to do. And the person that I'm doing it for, they just don't have the time or the interest in doing the minis. And I'm like, hey, it's a challenge. I'll try it. But I've had them since November, and I've only painted 20 something minis, maybe 25. I need to paint more. Okay, I don't think I painted underneath on this guy yet. What is on this brush? Maybe I shouldn't use this one. It does seem a little chunky, but I am just putting stuff on, so. Thanks, Biggs. I'm trying. I really would like to get these. This paint is, something's on this brush. I wonder if I put something on here to, gosh, I don't know. I really should mark them so that I know that if I'm not using for painting anymore. Although it really doesn't matter. Let me just clean it here with the soap. The soap. But the Zenithal highlight really does a lot of heavy lifting for painting these with the speed paints. I think it's a great process, and it's really good for people just to get in and do your minis. I actually commented something on BGG. Somebody had a paint idea where they were just spraying stuff. Basically doing a zenithal highlight with spray cans and then doing like a dust of a color above it and things like that, and then maybe picking out some stuff, which is a great idea too. I still feel if you're painting a lot of stuff, it's probably better to get an airbrush and a compressor of some sort, because for my issue with using rattle cans is it's generally coarser spray. Now there are some pretty darn good brands out there. Hey, thanks for the follow, Sweaty McSwampass. It's a little bit, gosh darn it, what did I do to this brush? Yeah, isn't that cool? I mean, the zenithal highlight definitely does a lot of heavy lifting for what you're doing, and you can get some pretty great results quickly. It is totally worth it. Okay, back to the, boy, I'm burning through this paint. Keep thinking, oh, that'll be enough. No, it isn't. I really love this color too, this achromatic blue. It was really one of my favorites, and I surprisingly have many opportunities to use it, and I just don't. Oh, the Tesseract that Nick was painting was really cool. Which, to me, this is like a Tesseract color. I think Nick's a little more concerned about getting a good coat, you know, on his like a good paint job. I like doing nice jobs, but I also don't sweat it so much. Like I'm not happy with the Adam Warlock ones. I don't think either of them turned out that great, but it's not terrible. It's just not what I wanted. And you know, I think Adam Warlock in the movies, he's gold. He was, I don't remember what planet that's supposed to be or whatever, but they did not have him do it that way. And I was not going to try to do that, although it could be easy, I suppose. I did do some kind of what they call non-metallic metal type paint jobs on the Wasp, but not really, you know, I'm not that good of a painter. That's all. I had a friend that was really, really good. He's really great at wet blending, and I was only just getting started when we all kind of stopped doing this stuff, and he moved back east, which is a bummer. I would love to be painting with somebody and learning how to, you know, the great thing is there's YouTube and you can learn a lot, but there's still the practical experience in seeing somebody really do it in real life that is valuable. More paint needed. I actually am kind of glad. I mean, I like it in the night kind of look here. Now they're doing some stuff where I might try to do that, where edge highlighting and stuff. What was the one that I did a bunch of? I mean, I did a lot on Wasp kind of stuff here, and it's pretty good, but I did another one a little bit that was a little bit better. Her eye is off, and it's driving me insane, so I'm probably going to just try to touch it up and move it over. We'll see. You know, I thought I had it. It was actually the second one, but I think the second one is in the first one, because I painted the right, well, her left eye first, and then this one. But this is more accurate, and this is off, so I think I'm going to try to cover it up and move it over a bit, and then do it again. So I can't give Nick too much guff if he's a perfectionist. I'm somewhat of one, but not crazy. Actually, Nick was saying that this was what got him into the Marvel United stuff. He just loved this mini. And it really turned out great. I really love it. And I didn't even go crazy. I mean, I did some like shading to brighten up some parts of the red, but it's not even that noticeable. I also don't want to spend, I mean, I spent a good 2.5 hours on Wasp, and I don't really want to do that, maybe even 3. I don't really want to spend that much time on them, right? I would like to spend about an hour to an hour and a half maybe on each mini, because there's so many of them. You don't really need them all to be phenomenally rendered, but it is nice. I'm not even done. I don't know what I'm thinking. Well, I shouldn't. I'm not done. I need more paint. More paint. I've been trying to make it the end of the week, and it's actually already the end of the week now. But when we were streaming the other day, I said, have a great weekend. It was on Tuesday. I keep doing that. I think I want it to be Thursday. Vicky's been designing the new BGG shirt, or new GameNight shirt, and a new couple BGG shirts that are pretty cool. So we'll see how that goes. Definitely the GameNight shirt's coming soon, and it is our new logo. So we're not making a ton of them right off the bat. We probably shouldn't. There's not that many people that want to buy them, but they will be available on the store, and they will be available at BGG Con spring. That is the plan anyway, and that would be cool. Okay. I kind of wish I had one of those little desktop dryers. See, this is not dry. You can't see it here, but the cape's got a little bit of moisture in there. And I don't want to paint that yet. And I don't have a ton of other things to paint. I have more primed, but there are more minis that I need to have 2 of done, and I really want to try to do these all simultaneously. Well, let's do his hood. Scott sent me a video. Looks like retro. A few weeks back, we were, I think before we went to Dallas, we were watching like old recordings of Friday night videos and the commercials. And he had more fondness for the commercials than I did. But also, I think a lot of that, I didn't watch those. When it was high school, you know, and I stopped watching TV at one point. I just was like, I don't like this stuff. And I didn't start back up until after college. And that was actually when I was with Nikki, right? So Nikki's like, I ruined you. I'm like, no, I just was frustrated with that stuff. I was working on my projects and stuff mostly, and doing other stuff. But yeah, when I moved into the apartment that I shared with my brother and his girlfriend, I think that's when we got cable. I had a TV, but I watched, I was into laser discs at the time, end of the 80s, early 90s, and those were cool and everything, but they're not DVDs, and they're very expensive. But I had what was a large TV to me then was like a 20-something inch television. But it was great. And I still love all that. I have a server that I put together with all of our DVDs and Blu-rays, so we can watch that stuff anywhere, which is nice. It's a lot of work. It's not worth it for everybody to do, but I like it, and we have so many discs. I was a crazy disc person. Although I read that Carrie Coon and her husband Tracy Letts have 10,000 Blu-rays. Now she says it's him, that he's into the on his face, but I don't think it matters. He'll pick the movie and she'll just watch it. But I clicked on it because they said 10,000 Blu-rays. I'm like, wow. I have a lot, but not that much. And that's just Blu-rays. I don't have 10,000 Blu-rays. I have like 3,000 or 4,000 total discs, maybe. Maybe. And I miss Netflix. The discs, I got the discs until the bitter end, because I just liked seeing. I have always felt, discs are better than streaming. Well, in the time that we've had streaming, but There's not a very, very bold split there. I'm gonna have to work on that. Hey, Star Reaper. Reapers, how you doing? That's pretty dry. Now I could just go in with a, you know, I thinned this out, this achromatic blue, to a lighter color. I can go in and just do darker, but I prefer to build it up to actually get it just a little bit more control over it. I mean, whenever I paint, anytime I paint the full-on straight color, I'm almost always disappointed. I think this is pretty much the straight blue, and it's okay, but I feel much better when I build it up. I built this one up. I also actually did 2 different tones so that his bodysuit was a different material than his helmet. So the helmet is blacker than the bodysuit, which is more like a leather. Weird stuff like that. I rationalize when I do this stuff. But I feel you can do you can pretty much cover up the coffee stains if you just work it a little bit. This is that one that it's looking a little better. But yeah, it's best to like not let it build up so you don't have those problems. But this will be cool. Okay, did I get that last edge? I did not. And once again, I'm out of this paint, man. I'm going very quickly through it. Anyway. Okay, once that's dry on the other one, I will work a little bit darker on that other shadow. But yeah, the Friday Night Videos was a show on ABC, I believe. And I think it ran, I mean, it must have been really late. And they had videos, some that I'd never even seen. Like, I didn't have MTV back then. And so I didn't, we were in LA and they have, you know, some shows, like local shows that did videos, which are pretty cool. They were in the afternoon, you know, for kids. You know, for kids. And then Friday Night Videos. And then we got MTV, I think. We got MTV that was, I mean, I had access to it before that, but when I really had access to it, I think we also had MTV2, which was amazing to me because MTV2 was more kind of the style of music that I really liked. Didn't last very long, but they debuted, this is what was really awesome, when they debuted MTV2, they did, I really wished I could have recorded everything. They played all of the videos from their vaults. And now, you know, of course we can watch that all pretty much on YouTube. There's a few things though, there's like a video, some song which we don't know the name, so I couldn't ask anybody for any help. But it was, I think, it was either on 120 minutes or just after 120 minutes, and which was a show we liked. And I was looking for it on that. I honestly believe they didn't play everything, but I had no idea who the artist was, so I couldn't really pay attention. And I couldn't record for days. This is before DVRs, and the DVR would have run out of space too. But it was awesome because there was just so many videos that we had, like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this in forever. And this is all before YouTube made that easier. Voodoo, what is it called? Not Voodoo, but not Vimeo. Goodness gracious. Some V name that's it's somehow through YouTube, but it's probably run by the studios or recording labels or something. I don't know. Okay, so let's paint some dark colors here. I really should put this on the stand. I'm much better I have a tendency to touch the head of the miniature, and so I messed up a helmet semi recently where I had to clean it up and paint it again because it was a mess. I think I need some new poster tack. This is actually not even poster tack. I think this is Quake Hold, and it is it's too gooey. I need to actually buy. They have it at Home Depot. They claim you can keep reusing it, but I'm like painting on it. I've airbrushed on this stuff and everything else. Man, I've just made a mess. Yeah, this is terrible. I think I need to use, if I have another ball of it somewhere here, I need to use that because this is not good. It's way too gooey. Wow, it's sticking to me. It's way worse. I have other, like I think I got blue tack on one of the Kickstarters for the, I think for the red grass set. Let's see here. Oof. Well, the orange was from something. And that might have been the red grass. I thought it was blue. Actually, the blue might have been from Game Envy hobby holder. They're doing some great stuff. I bought, as I was saying earlier, they have a new wet palette that's very nice. Again, you don't even need to buy a wet palette. Of course, I have 3, so or maybe more than that. No, I have 3. And I did back the other one, so I need to actually look and see what I backed. Oh, this is very sticky, very firm. Let's see here. Wow, this is terrible. I need to throw this out so I don't use it. I've never had this actually happen. I've been using this ball of Quake Hold for a long time though. Who knows, I actually might have mixed in 2 Quake Hold and poster tack, which is not a good idea. They are not the same. I mean, they're similar, but their consistency is not the same, and that could have messed it up here. I don't want it to get in the other thing either. So I'm just using the stickiness of the thing to pull off what's remaining, but of course it's sticking to me. Okay, time to toss that. It's also on the bottom of the Mini though. So yeah, if you don't press too hard, it'll do a pretty good job of getting it out, and it doesn't stick to the miniature as well as much. Ugh, sticking my hand so crazily here. Oh, it is terrible. Hey, but it's coming off of this, so that's all that really matters. If I can get it off my hands. There we go, good enough. Wow, toss this stuff. Oof, now it's in my shirt and my pants. Get rid of it now. Get off my fingers and into the trash. There we go. Did it go? Or did it not? It missed. There we go. Okay, let's try to get this one working. So yeah, I have a red grass handle, and they're nice. This is the first one. So they have a newer one that actually has a magnet plate so that you can balance. This is a little bit iffier. It's nice to have this too, but I have so many paint handles, I don't even need to. I have like 7 of the GW different versions, you know, like 6 of this, I think, and maybe 5, and then one of the new ones, and then a bunch of ones from a German manufacturer. They did a Kickstarter. They were great. Scott bought us all a bunch of those things, and I'm the only one using them, and I don't even, oh my gosh. Look at that one. How do I mount that guy to the handle? Ugh, okay, well, hopefully that'll be enough. I don't know. A giant hole, but that's good. They're not wasting plastic, although it would sure make it more stable, I'm sure. Okay. I think, so I guess that's his hood. It's almost like he's got a beak, a duck beak. I really don't see what it is. But I'll do that in black. I feel that these are more comic oriented in design. And so it's not terrible, but that's a Millen oil, which I never even use, Black Templar. And then the other Basilicon Gray, which is what I'm going to use. And once again, I'll probably build it up. These are great. Now, this is a little build. So in this case, it might be too much, right? Well, you see, I'm just brushing it on. It's not like it's a tremendous amount of skill. Although if I let this go long enough, I might be able to paint some more blue here. Let's do it's not so good on the back of the cape, but I can do some more on this hood. Wow, the brush kind of got dried. It's very dry. We have another storm coming, which will then be wet, but it's crazy. We had hail, which we do not have very often here, the other day, and that was a shocker. I think my mom was getting ready to go, and he's like, that's hail. She said, what the hail? Ooh, I don't want to paint that. It is not ready. So, underside here, I believe it is all the same thing. They don't have, it looks black in the thing, but I looked at the other angle, and his eyes are blue. So I probably should paint these. Yeah, I guess I could just paint the blue. We still have not seen Dune, which is a bummer. It's because I think it came out when we were leaving for Dallas. And I would like to go, because we didn't see the first one in the theater. It was during the pandemic, and we just watched it on Max, which was fine. I know that it would sound better, even though we have a decent home stereo thing for it. It's not movie theater level, but it's pretty nice. I also don't like to blast it too loud. I don't want the neighbors to have to hear it. We're not that close, but close enough. It's a wild bristle that went poking in the wrong way. That is the problem. You have to be careful. And that's one reason why you don't really want to use a great brush doing something like this, because you're poking in there for sure. Okay. I did not have the fine brush in the house, and I do not see it here. It's not necessary, but I like it. There's a couple of reasons. Sometimes it's good to use a very fine brush because you don't get a lot of paint on it, but it's also not applying a ton of paint. Now, it should be here, but I got this one that I will use. What is this one? Is this the Army Painter one? It is the Army Painter one that came with those paints. I wonder where the other one is. Got a headache here. It is weird though. Oh, you know, I cleaned up so much stuff. I organized and organized, and it was great. But I don't think I was 100%. That's a liner. That is not what that one was. Although that one's not bad. Who knows? Who the heck knows? Maybe this one? No. That one's bad. Oh, it is okay. But yeah, I really did a big organization to try to get it all a little bit more easy to work here. Really should be switching between the... Hey, his eyes are done because I washed the face, which I should not have done. So I can build it up slowly, right, with just little bits of paint on here to really make it stronger if you want, which I like to do. I overdid it a little bit there, but I'll let that dry this way because that could sag a little bit. There's one of the things about the contrast paints. Okay, definitely could use some more on the cape. So let's mix up a little bit more. So it's really, I mean, you could go straight. It's not that bold of a color, but I really do like to build it up. Actually, what I should do is give myself a little bit of full strength blue here, and we'll see what it does for really bringing up the contrast. Hey David, how you doing? Contrast medium, here we go. I don't think I have enough of the stray color, but it'll be enough for now. I was getting really good at closing the bottle lids because I was doing it on that little thing and I didn't have any of these to hold the bottles. So I was like, oh, this is not a bad habit to get into. what is this one called here? This brush is a Precise Detail. It's not a bad one. I don't believe that RE Painter has the greatest of brushes. So let's try to do a harder edge here. Ooh, that's dark. But it's not that dark. Yeah, so this is not a super strong color. But I like the color. So I want, just what happened there? I want a little bit of dark here to make this stronger and clearer and done. That will speed things up instead of completely layering it, you know, on like some of this stuff. But yeah, you don't have to go too crazy like getting the colors to, you just get them close. Again, I don't think most people will even care. It's mostly for us that really like to paint that stuff that you might be a little bit more concerned about. How much, you know, you want it to really work out. I don't feel it's too much to worry about. You know, you want to just get it so it looks nice on the table. None of these are, I mean, every villain is a boss, so you might want to paint those nice, but I mean, these are all, you know, main characters as well. But I've been reading an old, I checked it out from digitally from the library, from an old set of Star Wars stories from Brian Daley, I believe was the author, and they are from the 70s or 80s, I think. I think probably the 80s, because I bought them on Scholastic Book Fair. I don't know if they still do that, but they probably do, since Scholastic books still exist. But they would, you would order the books, and you'd get them a while later. And I ordered, I believe, that whole set of those Han Solo books. And I'm reading the first one, and I had to have read them, but probably so long ago that I don't really recollect. I don't recollect anything so far. So part of me wonders, did I actually read these? Because I do tend to remember, like when I get into it, I remember them, but I don't remember it at all. Okay. We stirred that up. We put this stuff in there. Let's get some more cape, but not too much. And I'm going to try to do the same kind of thing where I'll darken only one side of these now. Not as intense at the top since it's got moonlight on it. I say confidently. Okay, that looks pretty good. That still does not look like I painted it. Okay. That looks pretty good. It helps. Now I want to try to do his face, which is going to be a challenge because the eyes are already pretty dark. And I will just, you know, they're blue, but I'll do the gray. I'm going to use the basilicanum gray for that, and I will probably do 2 tones of it because it has, they've got like a shadow casting. I believe that's what's going on here. So right here. Okay. Now, I stirred that paint in a lot, but not enough. It's still got pigment at the bottom. You really need to shake. You need to shake these paints. The pigments all need to be mixed up for it to do a good job. Oh my gosh, I got a headache. I did not sleep great. Part of it was like the idea that we needed to get going and started early. I did not realize Mike and Nick were able to stick around for so long, so it was good. We were able to get a few things done. I would have loved one other little short game because it would have been with 4. Well, the one we played on the stream the other day, the Expressions. I really would have liked to have done that, but we just didn't get to do it. And that is fine. So I don't need as much of this paint because I am going to probably not paint underneath the cape. Well, actually, you know what? I am going to use it for the stone pedestal that he's on as well, so I do need a little bit more. It's funny, I have like a couple of blacks. Actually, I think I have the only 2 blacks that Games Workshop does, and they're both pretty great. But I use the basilicanum gray more than because I feel you should only be using the dark blacks for the deepest, and maybe that's what I'll do for the under the cowl. But I am already getting pretty low on my second bottle of, though, that's a lot of painting of contrast paints. I can never really tell what the color is. That's the issue with using these fidget popper palette things. They're great though, believe me. They clean really nicely. So I'm going to paint around his eyes probably with this first, just to try to very delicately not going on. I really should be using a bigger brush. Feels like something is still wet, but maybe I just have a sticky finger. So I painted those eyes on Wasp with a larger brush. You just need a good point. So here I am using this little brush, but my problem is I always get nervous because it's such a small area that I feel like I'm gonna over apply it. But I was doing those, you know, just the hand painted eyes, and it worked great. You don't need to have a small brush to do it. You're definitely gonna have more paint in your brush, and it's easier to load and keep it going so it doesn't dry out really fast. But a little brush is helpful, a little detail brush. So you definitely want to stop because it's starting to gel. Just want to do a little bit more here to try to get this evened out. And then I'll let it dry. It's going to be different. Wow, that is what's sticking. It is more of that. It's on my hands, the poster tack. Wow. I touched his head there. I don't know. Okay, let's do this one. I wonder if I should just use the larger brush. I could do that. Let's just see. I don't know. And let's use a better brush for that. One of the I like these. These are from Saks. I got them from like school supplies or .com or something like that. And their brushes are not bad, and they were like $5 or $6 for a pack of 6. Plus shipping and tax, but it was pretty good. And I like them a lot. I think they're quite good brushes for what they are. I mean, you know, they're synthetics. I don't have a lot of experience anymore using natural hair bristles. I do have some different brands, including Games Workshop and Monument Hobbies. I bought like a set of theirs, and they're nice, but I just don't use them often. And I am also, you know, this is a much more run and gun paint style where you're just slopping stuff on. So it really isn't necessary to. I don't feel it's, you know, to each their own as far as what they use. But I like the synthetics, and I like how. This is basically feels like it's as small as that brush. And this isn't even that big. I usually use a 4 now. This is a 0, so I thought I grabbed the 2. Out of focus. Okay. Yeah. Using the black, not good, or the gray. Boy, it's much, much darker. I probably should use a black. you're not really going to see. I'll have to probably put a little bit of white in his eyes to bring those eyes out a little bit, to pop them out, because this is too gray. And it's, you know, I don't know what I'm thinking it's going on here. Is it leather or is it? It's getting darker here with this layer on it. Oof, do not touch. Still wet. I thought it was dry. Thought I hadn't painted it yet, but I did. Cool. It's still pretty wet, but I can do the brow, forehead and the brow. Hey, thanks for the follow, Tar030. That looks cool. I'll probably do some highlights too, like some whiter highlights. But I'm gonna do the base now. That it will definitely be a chunkier brush that I do not worry about here. I did just touch his face. No, I didn't. So in this, I'm going to probably kill some of the highlights because I'm using such a dark paint. Maybe not though. It looks like it's kind of settling in. And if it gets funky, I will just dry brush some highlights on it, and I may still just do that to peak it, you know, a little bit of color. Maybe just highlight and then put some blue. Although there's not a lot of it in their painting. Now, you know, you do what you want. It's another fun thing about these minis is they just have some great bases. So it's fun to paint them. And I love some of the details that they've done. There's like a broken street light on the ground, and it's awesome. My hair is getting stuck in here. I need a haircut. Just one though. Oof, that's hard to get in there. Sitting poorly. Wow, I need more already. I don't think I have a idea of how much I need with the way this is working. Now, I also usually put the Basilicanum Gray on the base of these minis unless there's something that really needs to have some color. So I will put a little bit on here, and then I might do a lighter version on the just in front of this pedestal. But yeah, I just wicked a bunch of the gray off of there. And it looks pretty good. I think that that's probably all I really need to do. It's darker on the, I might do a little bit more. I do not have enough for this though, I don't think. So let's mix just a bit more. Wow, there's some of the glue, the poster tack, or the Quake hold. Is bad. I'm missing the brush. Oh, whatever. Okay, so more paint. Some of these could still be in the house. I don't worry too much about getting them exactly the same shade because you don't really need to sweat it. Let me put a little bit of just the straight. Well, I can do it from here. Just to have a little bit to do something on that forehead to maybe be done with it. I also feel, you can do a pretty good job of touching up. So if you get a color on something you do not want it on, you just put some gray on it, and usually you can blend it in. It's not that, doing the Zenithal style. If you're doing standard contrast paints, it's probably not a lot of joy when you do that. Okay, so back to this guy. Let me just do a tiny bit on this forehead and see what that looks like as the raw black. Or not black, but the dark Basilicanum Gray. It's drying so fast. Focus. But I definitely think it's better to build up to the darker color. Not that though. It's better to build up to the darker color because you will, it's always terrible if you go too dark, but if you're getting where you want to get it to the brighter amount, and then get darker, ugh, boy, I'm really having a heck of a time here. I think I need to touch that up. I mean, it's depending on obviously what you're doing. Oh, I'm using the wrong color here. It depends on what your goal is, but I'm almost never dissatisfied building up to the color, and I'm almost always dissatisfied that I have chosen to go for a darker color. So from the start. Now in this case, it ended up being, this is not as dark as a black would be. I do like this siliconum gray. It's another one of my favorite colors, and it's kind of silly because it really isn't that much. So I just got a little bit over his on the hood, and I don't like that. So if you, this was the undercoat that I used to use on games, on the GW minis. They do not, I don't think they sell that color. I'm not 100% sure. One of the colors they got rid of. And, but I immediately figured out that, oh, this is a good way to fix stuff. And what I'm going to do is blend these a little bit together so that it won't be that big of a deal. I'll add it on. I did it on all over the place here. I don't want to look, it's going to get worse. But then I put the blue on it and you won't even notice. I mean, already it looks, you can't see it. Already you can see it's like, oh, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. I almost could go with that. But I will probably use some of the dark blue, which I don't have on the palette right now, because it is dried. It dried so quickly, but it was a small amount. So let's get back to the base. We could use a hair tie. But I feel this does a pretty good job of giving you some subtlety, right, with this coat. And it's one coat, and it does a pretty great job. This seems a little lighter than the last batch, but I can fix that. I would have liked to have gone to Adept. I'm not really a tournament player, and that's I mean, there's also some casual gaming to it, to AdeptCon, but I just haven't played standard 40K or I haven't played Warhammer Fantasy, because I definitely haven't played Age of Sigmar. I never get that name, remember it. Haven't played Age of Sigmar ever, but I have played, it's not the same game, but I've played Warhammer Underworlds, and that's fun. It's just a small skirmish game, but those are fun. I've played that a few times. But that is the thrust of what that event is about. Now, obviously, it'd be fun to hang out with people and meet some folks, but I would like to go because it's in Chicago, and I've been wanting to go to Chicago. But it was not a good time. It really isn't a good time for us, because it's between usually Pinball Festival and the Gathering. And we really like the Texas Pinball Festival. I want to keep trying to go to that. It's fun. And we're kind of in a golden time of modern pinball, because there's just so many new releases. There were supposedly new 10 machines at the fair. I don't remember that there were 10, but we played a lot of them. The only a couple things we didn't play that, I think we played all the new stuff, but we didn't play all the homebrews. We did not play, there was a homebrew of Saw, there was a homebrew of Friday the 13th, and there was a homebrew of, wow, I can never remember their name. Hey, the Mini Mad Cat. Thanks for joining us, folks. I'm just painting some Marvel United stuff. Working on Moon Knight, a couple Moon Knight minis. Motorhead, I finally remember the name. I never remember their name. I do not know why. I know Lemmy Kilmeister or whatever, Meister. So we didn't play those. We did play some other homebrews that were really great. There were people waiting. That was actually probably the longest wait. When we actually went over on Saturday night, Chris Franchi, one of the illustrators who does some great pinball machines, including the new Elton John, which is a great machine. He was playing with a friend, so it was awesome. Hey, Mini Mad Cat, thanks for joining us. I'm trying to paint 2 Moon Knights roughly equivalent. They're pretty good here. I just touched all of that I just painted. Now, it's not a big deal. This is the base. It doesn't have, it's wreckage usually, so it's perfectly fine, but I'm getting there. They're closer. They're close-ish, and they look pretty good. And this is completely different than what I had been planning to do, so, which I love. Hope you guys, what were you doing over on Mini Mad Cat's channel? Oh, there you go. I was playing some Project Zomboid after finishing a big dragon. Wow, that's cool. We today played a couple of games, not live, recorded a couple games, and then we also played on Tuesday morning. We played Expressions, which we played last week as well. The publisher asked if we'd be interested in it, and I don't usually like to take the games because I don't want the, we can only cover what we're really excited about, and I do not want to, the thing is we'll take them, and here's the deal. We can put them in the BGG library, which would be fantastic. At least it gets a life if we did not enjoy it enough for the show, but we played Expressions. It was great. People had been talking about it at Dice Tower West. Mike from our show had played it a few times, or at least seen it, because he asked me about the game. Boy, I got paint all over me. I really did touch that bad. I hope I didn't mess anything up. But he thought it was interesting. So the publisher and designer had written to me before the fair, before Dice Tower West. And so I said, is it available for retail? Because that's really kind of the big thing that we need to make sure. And it's hard, believe me. We've done several games lately that are not available. Either they are only in Europe. This week's is an example. It's on BGA. That's where Scott had been playing, and he got several copies, and gave us one because he wanted us to do it, and so we did, and it's great. And we wanted to film it today, but we just didn't have the time. But yeah, sometimes I don't want to build up their hopes that we might do it. Not a lot of them are always banking on it, but they would sure like it to be on the show. We actually have some other ones that we'd like to do. We just haven't been filming enough. Because we did it looked kind of interesting game that we did a video for as a BGG. Our Mike and Nick, one of the two. I think it was Nick. Or no, I think it was Mike. It was Mike. Did it, and it was cool, and it looked interesting to me. So we have the game, so I want to check it out, but we just haven't had time. But a lot of these folks are small publishers. I'm sorry you're not seeing this. These people, it's Barn Made Games. They're from Washington State, and they're a new company. They've got one game and another one coming next month, and then another one coming later this year. And you want to help them out, but you can't promise anything. They were, they're great, and so we got it and immediately played it on the show that day because it looked interesting and everybody has been talking about it. So I'm glad we played it, and I do want to try to put it on the show. We played it with 2, which the publisher, then the designer, wrote that day and said we had done a couple, nothing wrong, but we had made it harder for ourselves. He said, number one, you're playing on the hardest version of the game. 2-player is hard. But it was great. Lovely blue-white blends. So the big neat thing here, neat thing here is this is all just zenithal highlighting. I'm afraid to touch any of these. I guess I can do this. it is, now I'm doing some of it, you know, not just using it as a contrast paint. I am using contrast paints on this, not the speed paints. But it is the zenithal highlight. So this is an example of a zenithal highlighted miniature. And it, you know, you can see the darkness. Oops, you can't really see it. I cheated a little bit. I usually end up putting a little bit of brightness on the face because I like the focus on the face. And then you put these contrast paints over it, and they do a great job. Now, I am doing a little bit of extra coating to make it do some, you know, like this shade that I did split that and do it. You know, it doesn't actually even have a seam. But I really don't want to handle them right now. But I have some, I'm working on the cloaks a little bit, but you know, this is a fast method. I've done 2 of these in about an hour. What time is it now? It is 7:47, so it's after, I should be stopping. I'll go till 8. I am very tired. I had such a rough night. We went to bed sort of early. We had to prepare in the studio, and I had to get our episode ready, the game night that went live today. And so it was just a ton of stuff to do. And I ended up, you know, not getting to bed as soon as I'd liked, and then waking up too early because I'm sure I was just stressing about what we needed to do. And let's see here, they're not really in the shot. I think I can lay them back, right? They're not wet that way. But anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to do them similarly. It's a challenge, for sure. These guys are some of the better ones I've done. Now, I've already worked on the face, although it seems pretty fully dark. I might have to put some lighter color on it. Hey, Kabuki Kid. Kabuki Kid's on both. Kabuki Kid's great. She is on Twitch often, and she's also on YouTube. Really got this stuff on my fingers. I don't know if it feels like it's super glue, but I've not handled any super glue, so it really does feel like it. I did handle the bottle, but I think I didn't open it up, so it's not that. I sure feel like I got super glue on my hands. I also, in here in the studio, we had a bunch of fluorescent lights fixtures, just 6, but hey, no problem, Mini Mad Cat. Thank you for joining us and raiding us. They're getting rid of fluorescent lamps here in Southern California, by the end of the year. And I didn't need to replace them, but I had a problem with one of the lights, and I thought it was the ballast. And then so I did some research on the bulbs, and because they both went out simultaneously, and amazingly enough, so I bought a fluorescent replacements that are LEDs. And the ones that I bought were from a company called Fight, and they're meant to directly replace fluorescent bulbs, so you just put them in and they'll work. And they're pretty great, but what's really awesome is, number one, on this model, it's got a slider, so it can go from 300K to 6500K, so you can change the warmth of the bulb. And I've always had in here in the studio 2 bulbs, one that was cool white, one that was warm, to give it a more even light. This stuff worked great, and so I ended up getting rid of, even though they weren't out, I ended up taking out the ballasts and all of them, because if you don't have it with the ballast in there, and you use those new bulbs, when the ballast goes out, you have to replace it anyway. You either have to replace it or take it out. And it's really not hard. The fluorescent LED bulbs, the fluorescent replacement LED bulbs, are not hard to rewire. And so I just rewired everything, cut out the ballast, put them all in. So there's not wasted any power and everything. And they are great. They're so bright. They're so instant. Like, we have fresh, new fluorescent bulbs. We had them. They're not in here now. But they took a long time to warm up. Now these are as bright as you need them and right away. So it's pretty great. I'm very happy with the whole thing, and I'm glad that I ended up switching them out, even though, you know, I spent $100, maybe $90 to replace them, the 12 bulbs, and then I have to e-waste the others, so the old ones, so that's a bummer. Let's see here. That looks pretty cool. Now, the bases are not quite the same intensity, but they're close. If these were dry, I would do a little dry brushing just to poke it out, the detail a little bit, but I'll save that. So it's interesting because, you know, Moon Knight is entirely, I don't remember the face being black, but what I don't really remember. I like the show. I like Oscar Isaac a lot. But it's cool because it's all one color. So we did this, it's night mode, so it's darker, you know, like moonlight illuminating him. So it turns out cool. I will probably go in and do a little bit of white highlights like on the, although it's pretty much there. If you look at the picture that I was using as a reference, wow, I really like that. There is a little bit more, obviously more highlighting going on, but like they went pretty white on these, his crescent, moon crescent, and it's close already. So I will probably do a little bit of, you know, you can see these guys are great too, and it's a little sloppy, right? They're doing stuff quickly. They know what they're doing. That's got that little spot there, which I will probably do, but there's a little bit of white there, which I won't paint it white. I'll use that gray because the gray is actually pretty smooth. Using the straight whites are not great. As I said earlier, Vincent Venturella recommends 50% gloss medium, so maybe like the Ard coat from Games Workshop, and then 50% paint. Hey, Liquid Snake Outer Heaven, how you doing? Thanks for following us. And so yeah, you get a pretty, I will be able to, well, actually let's try it real quick. I'm going to put it on the wrappings on his, why did I close that? The wrappings on his arm. So it's pretty bright, but if you see, this gray will be very white looking because it's everything around, which, you know, it's something I should know. I did study art, but you know, I'm also like really a graphics guy, so I usually, I need the readers to see this close. And what did I do with them? And where did I put them now? Okay, I don't see them. There they are. These are heavy. These are actually glass. Scott gave me these because he didn't need them. I'm like, well, I'll use them, but they're a little heavy duty. So I'll paint this on here. Now that's not that strong. Hey, Kabuki Kid. Thanks for the resubscription. Thank you for the support. So it's not quite as bold as, I mean, because this is pretty pale, but I'll just put this on here. And for me, it's almost enough white. It's not quite enough. I don't know if you can really see it. Let's see. But that is pretty darn white. And they did actually some dark spots next to that. So let's see if I can emulate that. I did some of that on the Wasp one, and it was pretty cool. I was just doing, like, building up little dots of the color immediately adjacent to give the effect that they were doing. Now, of course, I should probably be using the stronger, maybe raw color. But, you know, it gives it a little bit of a look there. And it's simple, right? Now they have a little bit more on this side. Let's just go ahead and do that. And then I might use a darker, a brighter white. I have a pretty great white. The white from Pro Acryl is fantastic. But it is still a white, and whites are just not great. Ugh, that was terrible. The nice thing is I can clean it up. But I like to do a little bit of this kind of work on these models. It's not necessary, but it gives it a little bit more. It's one of the things I would like to do a little bit more often. Because I do like doing the details. It gives it a cool look, and it gives it some visual variety. This will be easier because I was trying to reach over the knee. But yeah, you have to be kind of, you know, I'm being delicate. I'm just trying to put a tiny amount on so I don't make a terrible mess. And then I'll just try to build it up. It also seems to, for me anyway, it seems to go right back on the one that I just painted. Like, for whatever reason, the paint attracts the paint, the little bit I'm doing there. That's not great on that one. I might need to put a little bit of white or the gray on there, and I think I do. It just is not what I want. And that was the one that I cleaned up, so maybe I was too soon. You kind of have to wait for it to dry. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. Again, it's a little too close to that one, is close to the shadow. So I will put a tiny bit of white. And since this is not true white, it probably will even be better. I've had this bottle for, goodness, for almost 5 years. So it's not a great bottle of paint. I mean, I have bottles of paint that are much older, but these paints from GW, the standard paints, are not my favorite. So I'm gonna have to touch that up and give it some blue there too, because I pulled that away from the other. Now, I always wait a while when I'm painting over something like this because it's chalky and it will be it might be a little bit better because this is a white, but it tends to look funky. It does not match. If you wait longer, it does a better job of matching. It's still not, now this is gray. I usually do white, so I could be doing a lot better. I don't know. So there you go. That's silly, but it looks kind of cool. It's some visual variety. It makes it should be enough. Their gray is really, it's more gray than the blue here. I'm noticing on this part. I used the same blue throughout the whole, like the shading was more of a gray instead of a blue. And that's partly because I think a lot of the time they're doing something like it's at nighttime. The other great thing about painting these minis is they are big. So if you're not a great painter, hey, it's 8 o'clock. That's the call my mom thing. I do need to call her. Oof. So I'm leaving this top edge lighter, you know, this edge here on the fold of the cape, just so that it pops out a little bit more, right? So it's a little different than the, again, more visual variety. So that looks pretty cool. It's not 100% strong like I would like it to be, but I also don't want it to be too strong. I want it to get lighter because it's on his shoulders and the moon is above. That is cool. I did not do any of that on this one yet. The pleat being a different, a darker edge. And I'm just matching what is happening here where this is darker, right? But I was saying the blue highlight stuff, they do a lot of it on their miniatures, so. Because I guess essentially they're at night, probably. But it also makes it more dramatic. Touch that, and I did not want to. But there you go, that looks pretty cool. A little bit of pooling here on the valley, which is not great, but it looks good. I mean, it has a lot of visual variety. I will do the same thing on the gauntlets, the wraps on his arms. That looks pretty good there. You can see the difference. I don't feel like this got really covered very well. Put a little bit more on that. A little on this guy here. So there you go. That's pretty cool. And it's not that hard, right? You can get a lot done. I mean, if I were working a little faster and not talking so much, I probably could have another mini or so done in 2 hours time. Now these aren't completely done, but they're close. And I will probably be done with these tomorrow. I'll work on them maybe when I have some things I need to do. I actually need to find out some stuff here too. Yeah, there they are. They look pretty great. I need to actually take pictures of the thumbnails to put for the thumbnails on YouTube because they're terrible. Healthy to have hobbies and maybe one day get as good as Lincoln. Oh, it's not that hard, Texas Chief. You can do pretty good. Just gotta, one of the things is developing stability in your hands, right? I'm pretty good. I'm just afraid here I'm gonna get old and start getting shaky, but I'm pretty good where I put my hands together a lot. Like I try to, I was able to do these eyes, for example, and I stabilized my hand and was able to freehand those pretty easily. Again, I'm looking at that one and I'm gonna wanna change it. And I'm new to freehanding really. I mean, I've done some freehanding-ish stuff in the past, but not a ton. Like I freehanded these cloaks. I did this, stuff here. And that was literally, I think, some of the first serious freehanding that I'd done. And it looks pretty good. It's not that hard. And like I said, you can easily touch this stuff up. It's not that difficult to do. But that was awesome. It's not on the, it's in the pictures that they had. But it looks nice. I didn't go too crazy. This one actually I had some mess with and I cleaned it up pretty well. I was able to match the gray pretty closely. And it's awesome. I mean, it's really not that hard. You just, as I say, do aspirations. One good way to do this is these miniatures, you get 10. So you get Ant-Man and Captain Marvel and Iron Man and Hulk and Wasp and Red Skull and Ultron and Taskmaster and Black Widow and Captain America. I might have said that already. So you get 10 minis in that set. And it's as little as $10 on Amazon. And 15 to 10 to 20 depending. Usually it's about $16 for the first set. It's a little more expensive for the X-Men one, but that's not bad. And you can get started and really experiment. And you can easily clean these minis too. You don't have to, like if I'm really unhappy, here I'll show you one of the here they are both, the Adam Warlocks. And you can see, they're not bad, but they're not great. And I could strip them and just do it again. It's not that hard. I'm still not completely done with them, but they're not hard. You can get experience. They're bigger. The ability to paint the eyes is awesome. I mean, I'm not really blown away with my Captain America eyes, but Black Widow, her eyes look pretty awesome. Let's see if you can see them. They're teeny, but they look cool. And so you can get the experience and, learn how to hold your hands together. So one of the things, definitely the best way to do something like that, I was explaining earlier, but only abstractly, is you hold it together so that any movement is unified between the miniature and your hands. So that's how you can get a little bit more precision and develop your skills. And it's not hard to do. I honestly feel, that's what I mean, I've been doing a lot of Marvel United. I admit I want to do other things. I had done I had showed those Stormcast Eternals. I would like to paint more stuff like that. I would like to paint, I painted the, I don't think they're right here. Maybe they are. I would love to show them though, they're awesome. No, it's not right here. I did the minis from Flamecraft. You know, I love that. That was, goodness gracious, a year ago, maybe longer. And I would, you know, I like to mix it up, but I am trying to get through these minis. And I also feel they're a great miniature to start with. I mean, let's compare these two. This isn't tiny. These are bigger figures, but look how tiny the face is. You know, they're great miniatures. You don't have to do the face details the same, but it's fun doing these and getting this stuff like this. And it's not that crazy. You know, you can start with a set like these. These are $42 now, I think. The Stormcast Eternals with a set of like 4. Is that correct? I think it's 4 minis plus the. It depends. Some of them are only like 3 minis. The orcs that I have are 4 minis. And they're not too bad, but that's $40-some. If you spend $15, you can buy the set with 10 miniatures if you like Marvel stuff. And it's a fun game, and on top of that, and easy to play. And you can practice and get the skills to do it. It's good to, yeah, pill bottles are great too. I do have a 3D printed partial one here. This was the Kickstarter from, they're now called Game Envy, but it was Hobby Holders. You can see this was 3D printed on my, was this actually done on the, I feel like this is done on the resin printer, but it might have been FDM. And it's just cracked. It's too tight on there. But anyway, this part and this part were 3D printed here, and then this is just a bottle cap. That's what's great about these hobby holders. I think that you can get them on the current Kickstarter, maybe. Here's one that's fully the whole deal. I mean, he gave out some STLs to do like the additional things. This was his first Kickstarter. This is a bigger one. There's another thing that you can hold to help stabilize your hands. Again, it uses bottle caps, and these pop off, and it's a pretty great little system. And that's a really good way to help you hold your miniatures solid together. Now, I really do love these. This one's great. This is the older style. You can still get some of these sometimes, but mostly it's these now, and these are great. I actually find this one's easier because it's easier for me to twist. Now, like I showed you that Redgrass one earlier, you rotate the head, but this is not bad, right? It's pretty great in my hand. I have medium-sized hands, but you know, I feel this is better for folks with smaller hands too, where this one feels a little bit better in my hand. It's not hard to rotate it. It's a weird thing on that one. I like it on the Redgrass one, and the same thing with the hobby holder one too, right? You don't rotate this part. Well, you can. It's inside this thing here, and you can rotate it in the top because this pops in, or you can pop it back out. But it's not quite as easy to do. But again, this part here is rotate, so you can just rotate this and then paint something else. And then I think Kabuki Kid was mentioning pill bottles. Here's my pill bottle that I use all the time as a paint as a holder. It does not. This was the one I was using where I airbrushed on that paint. But this is a great holder too, and it's just a pill bottle. So definitely there's lots, and I was using earlier, I have the wooden dowel right here. This is one I've used for years, and it's a little tiny for my hand, but I still love it. They're great. There's a lot, and it's a wonderful tool to get you going and help you get better. Anyway, I would switch with the magnet top that spins well. That's interesting. Rotate your owl. Oh yeah, did I show the owl here? Oh, that's not an owl, but this bird is awesome. This was part of that those Stormcast Eternals. And you know, this was a pretty quick paint, and it looks great. I'm very happy with the tree stump here because I just did a couple different shades of brown, like a dark undercoat, black I think. Then I put some white on it, and then, or so lighter color. I might have dry brushed it, or maybe I just airbrushed it. I think I dry brushed it, though it looks kind of like I did. But that looks great. It's really awesome. And you know, these are all good. Now, I love those. They used to be cheaper. You could get them for like I bet you I paid $28. No, these Stormcast Eternals came in a box. But they were also available individually, like a set of 4. with maybe the bird. And they were $28. They have gone up a lot recently. And I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of upset with them. They're a little bit too expensive. Everything's like, I can buy the same stuff for considerably cheaper in Europe. Now, I don't really want to buy. I did have Sebastian get me some Crimson Court vampires. Actually, I really got them for Nikki. And they're high. Now, he got a set that had them in him, I think, for me. And it was much cheaper. For example, I have the, I'm doing these. These are Hearthkin League of Votan. And I was looking at the vehicles. I'm interested in their vehicles. And it was $108 or something like that. $110 for the tank, whatever it is. And it was like €80. And I just was like, this is insane. And I didn't want to bring it back home with me, but it just bummed me out. They're really kind of overcharging right now. So there's a count against them, and it's a downer because I really do think they have some of the best sculpts. I love these minis here from Marvel United, but they're not as amazing and detailed sculpts. They're not cast the same way. These are very crisp, you know, very, very crisp, and they look just phenomenal. And it's a fun game. That's what's great about Warhammer Underworlds. It's very simple. So yeah, this was one I painted. It's also from Warhammer Underworlds. And you know, it's a tiny little face, and you know, again, look at the size here. Same color. I love that Aethermatic blue. But look how much more detail there is, right? I mean, again, it's very crisp here, very, very nice detail, but this is like more paintable. So, and you know, then you can move into some of the Games Workshop stuff. It's great. They make nice stuff. Yeah, Warhammer Underworlds is great because it's not terribly expensive, and you can buy like a pretty inexpensive set from Barnes & Noble, which I do have, like the most recent one somewhere here. I think it had more repeats. I think it might have had, you know, that's the downer about like buying the box sets. You sometimes get stuff you already have, but it's a pretty great set, and it's not terribly expensive. And some, you know how Barnes & Noble is. It could be really cheap. Anyway, you guys have Shadespire. Yeah, what was the one I have? I have Warhammer Underworlds. It just says 2-player starter kit set. I think that's the most recent one. I mean, I have a couple of them. I like those actually. So the stuff that's a good way to, if you want to get into those. They're usually self-contained. In the United States, they have Games Workshop stuff at Barnes & Noble. It's like 4 different sets. They have like a combat arena Lair of the Beast is the most recent one. Some really great miniatures in that. And I think those are like maybe $50, but it's a full game with rules and everything, and 2 factions, you know, enough for 2 players generally, and some of them actually can do more. I think Lair of the Beast might actually play more players. And because I think Lair of the Combat Arena is similar to Gore Chosen, which is, I played that one a bunch too. That's the fantasy version of, oh no, yeah, that's fantasy version. The other one is 40K, Combat Arena. So similar rule sets. Anyway, everybody take care. Have a great weekend. I'm probably going to have to go walk out and shut this all off since I cannot stay logged in. And hopefully I'll see you again. I will be back on Tuesday. I'll be streaming Tuesday morning at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time, or Daylight Time. And then we will stream again next Thursday at this time, starting at 5:30 Pacific Daylight Time. We'll be doing a game night stream before we leave for Dallas. And we'll be gone for about 2 weeks. But everybody have a great weekend. Take it easy. Try not to get wet if you're here in California. We're going to have a lot of rain in the next few days. And that's probably it. And then, I mean, that's how it is for California. We don't get a lot of rain. And thank you for joining me. And thanks for everybody for the raids and for the support and for follows. Have a great one. I will see you guys later. I'm going to have to go shut this all off. Thanks to, let me see if we can raid. Can I do that? I can do it from the other room. I can't easily do it. But I will try to raid. So Twitch will go to the raid if there's something we can raid. And if not, we'll see you guys later. And then the YouTube folks, thanks for joining us. I'm sorry you can't do the raids. That's one of the best parts about Twitch, is the raiding other streams. So let's see here. Once again, that closed off. I don't understand it. So let me see real fast here. Let's do the raid. I'm not in the right thing. Why am I not? Anyway, let's go to the panel to do it. So, we will raid. Let's see who's streaming. Hey, there's Wapelius. Okay, so Wapelius is amazing. He paints miniatures with oil paints. He's going right now. He just started, it looks like. You were going to see some amazing, his skills are phenomenal. He paints on commissions, and his style is amazing. So here we go. We're going to go raid him. If you're on YouTube, you should maybe go to Twitch and look him up. He's fantastic, Wapelius. Paints with oil paints on miniatures. He's so good. So here we go. Let's see if it works. Say hello for me, because I don't think, oh my gosh, he's doing like a ghost night. It's so great. Okay. Object source lighting with oil paints. He's so good. Let's see if it'll go. It's getting ready to go. My goodness, he's showing you some examples right now. Okay, bye everybody. Take care. And see you all on YouTube later. Take care. Thanks for joining me.